Okay, hi everybody. Usually when I'm stood up in front of a group of people with a microphone, I'm teaching a class. So actually there's a theme here. So I'd like everybody to stand up and reach your arms up in the air, or as an invitation to. And as we're talking about group exercise, give yourself a good old stretch. A question for you. Keep standing up if you think there are more than 3 million participants in the UK taking part in group exercise classes. So keep standing and keep reaching if you think there are more. If not, you can sit down. Keep standing up and let's do a shoulder press, arms up and down. I don't have any music, but you can sing along if you like. If you think there are more than 3.5 million people participating in the UK weekly. Oh, some people lowering their arms. Okay, cool. Let's turn to the person next to you, give them a high five, turn the person behind you and high five. In front of you, keep that going if you think there are more than 4 million people participating in group exercise weekly. Keep going if you think there are. Yeah, keep standing if you think there are more than 4.5 million, and let's squat. Bend your knees. Let's do 5 more squats together. You've got 5, 4, 3. Go on, Brett. 2. Yeah. 1. Okay. Thank you for your participation. You can sit down. There are 4.86 million weekly participants in the UK. We know that there's 11.5 million monthly participants, and over a third of people regularly attending are meeting the Chief Medical Officer's guidelines for weekly exercise. 29% of participants that are currently participating were previously inactive. So it's a really popular activity, and is a great opportunity to get more people active. We also know that it's a really popular activity with people between the ages of 18 to 38. We know that exercising in a group can lower stress levels by 26%. And that group training is the second highest and fastest growing fitness trend of 2018. Over a third of all adults in England have taken part in the last year. That's based on the EMD UK national survey from 2018. So when you think of group exercise classes or fitness classes, which classes come to mind? Any names of classes that you might have heard of or participated in? Zumba, spinning, yoga, clubbercise, rock fit, body pump. Yeah, there's such a massive variety of classes and different activities that people can do. There is, and then we got all of these fusions. Yeah, merge yoga and merge Pilates, merge yoga and boxing. I've been teaching for 20 years. It's kind of like there's so much out there now. And the list really does go on. The variety is really important. If we think back to our fitness roots, group exercise has really come out of the dance world. So from dance came aerobics. And does anyone remember the craze in the 80s for aerobics and Jane Fonda style workouts? I'm gutted I missed out on that. But traditionally, there was a qualification that was developed. If people wanted to teach that kind of thing, the level 2 exercise to music qualification was developed, and then that gave you the qualification on all the skills to actually teach aerobics, so your grapevines, box steps, and all that kind of thing. Very much old school 80s aerobics, which is still loved today, but it's a little bit more niche. And then on the other side of the fitness industry or fitness was the gym. So the traditional gym environment really came out of the bodybuilding enthusiasts. And then those two routes have been, for many, many years, the two routes into the fitness industry. So if you wanted to teach classes, you do level 2 exercise to music. And if you want to do more gym instructing and personal training, then you generally start with level 2 gym instructor. There were your two routes. So these days, leisure centres and gyms have evolved. So where it started with bodybuilding, leisure centres thought, okay, what other activities could we add in? Rather than having many machines and like one person on a treadmill, if we have a big space, we can put classes on in that space and cater for more people per square metre. So studios went into these gyms, as well as tennis courts and swimming pools and lots of other activities. So it's no surprise really that today 78% of all group exercise takes place in a private gym or leisure centre. But there's also been a swing towards exercising in a group, with nearly half of the gym members going to a class. We also know that members who attend classes are 26% less likely to cancel their gym membership. So there's a trend of people wanting to get together, connect on some level with other people, be guided by an instructor, enjoy the group atmosphere, and then that's what keeps them coming back. And this rise in popularity, the traditional gym model is changing, and there's now a trend towards boutique studio membership. That's on the rise of 70%. So there really is a trend of people doing more group exercise rather than a solo gym workout. So group exercise can really get communities active, be that in that traditional gym studio, in a boutique studio, or in the community. It can keep our communities healthy. And it's great for business. You can get a lot of people in a space, be it inside, in a park outside, on a tennis court, in a swimming pool, doing that group activity. And we also know that through Insight, upskilling the workforce, the instructors that lead the classes, this has a direct impact on class occupancy and gym membership retention. Ultimately, people come back more often when the instructors offer a really good experience. So why do people go to classes in the first place? It might be something that, like, they've had a bit of a health scare. They might want to reduce their body fat percentage, change their body composition, lose weight. And then there's emotional factors or motivations as well. There's the social pull, and a lot of people just find it pure fun. So there's a gap, and there has been a bit of a mismatch in terms of how people are exercising, the activities that they want to participate in, and looking back at the original qualifications. So more recently, over the last year or so, we noticed this gap, and with the new SimSPA guidelines for different job roles in our segment, we worked with Active IQ to rewrite the foundation level 2 qualifications to enter the fitness industry. We consulted with a number of different fitness operators and studios, as well as individual instructors, to understand what their needs are. So from the operator's point of view, we asked them, what is your wish list? If you had the ideal instructor, what would that look like? What kind of skills do you want them to have? What kind of soft skills? What kind of knowledge? What experience do you want them to offer? And what does your own insights say? What are your own customers saying through their own insight and surveys? So we consulted with a lot of people, and there was a very clear theme that it was soft skills that was lacking. There was also the theme of the huge variety of classes that are offered on different timetables. You mentioned lots of them, and that these two routes into the fitness industry weren't serving all of these different varieties of classes that people can teach. Through talking to the operators as well, we learned that whilst we're kind of banging the instructor drum and saying your workforce is really important and the instructor can really make or break an experience, there are lots of other aspects that go into the group exercise experience that, from an operator's perspective, or anyone running a studio, an instructor hiring a space, has to consider, because these other things are really important to the consumer. So, of course, there's the instructor and the class type. The location of the class is important, the class times, the level of the class. Is it for a beginner? Is it for intermediate? Is it advanced? Is it all levels? And then what does that mean? What's the facility? What's the equipment like? What are the changing rooms like? What is the ambience and the community? What's that feel? Is there transport, parking? How much does a class cost? So there were all these competing factors, but ultimately we know it's the instructor that can really make or break an experience. Maybe you've been to a class at some point, and maybe you remember the first time you stepped foot into a studio, or it was outside in a park, it was a boot camp, something like that, or a group cycle class, and cast your mind back to that experience. How did it feel? How did the instructor greet you? Where was the instructor? Was the instructor at the door of the studio? Were they physically outside, or outside the space that the class takes place to notice when you're approaching and then make eye contact and welcome you into that space? All of those soft skills that, when you think about it, seems like common sense. But actually, for people that are getting into instructing, a lot of the time, they're doing it because they want to help. There's also a sense of, look at me standing at the front. There is that there as well. When we've spoken to instructors, a lot of them might be extrovert types, and there is that look at me factor that comes in. And they're interested in technicalities as well. So how the body works, perhaps more so than the actual experience that they're offering, and those soft skills. So we really worked to merge all of that into this qualification. We're asking a lot of instructors. We're asking them to have amazing communication skills. We're asking them to be able to instruct, give clear instructions. We're asking them to be coaches as well, so not just telling people what to do, but how to do it, following it up with how to do it. And we're asking them to be great motivators as well. And motivation, looking at it from different points of view, and rather than the traditional yelling at people or telling people just let's go, with the same kind of vocabulary. We're looking for them to still be knowledgeable and apply that knowledge when they're coaching. A lot of organisations are asking them to be almost like a DJ in putting their own music playlists together. And if there's music involved, then do they understand music licensing laws and how to comply with those? We're asking them to be an excellent planner and plan every single class based on a group goal of people that are coming along to their session. And of course, excel at customer service, their soft skills, making sure that they offer empathy and marketing as well, understanding how to market themselves, and that their class doesn't really start and finish when they push play on the sound system and press stop again. So again, the instructor can really make or break the experience. They can either build or break down the barriers of the participants. So what we've done, and this is fairly recently, is create two streams. Instead of level 2 exercise to music and level 2 gym instructor, the gym instructor still stands on its own, but the level 2 exercise to music, we've divided up into two pathways. So people that are new coming into the industry, they will have an idea of what kind of class they want to teach, whether it is rhythmical to the beat and phrase of the movement of the music, or whether it's more like a boot camp, HIIT, circuit style class, where actually we don't need to teach them about beats and phrases and how to move to the beat. If maybe they've got two left feet and that's just not for them. So there are two routes, level 2 group training to music, and then level 2 group training. For people that are already instructors, so at the moment our latest insight, we know that there are 900,000 instructors regularly teaching. Maybe those people did their qualification many, many years ago. Maybe it was back in the 80s and they've done exercise to music and they can teach the 80s aerobics really well. But times have moved on. Have they upskilled? And what about personal trainers? Because there are many, many personal trainers that are delivering group classes. There's many people teaching sports-based group activity, group classes. How can we support them with the skills to communicate really well in a group environment? So we've developed group training CPD specifically for those people, a 2-day face-to-face workshop where we can offer live feedback and coaching, mentoring on their existing teaching, teach them about our coaching model, where they can apply that, teach them about planning, and then support them afterwards. It's not goodbye at the end of that course. We'll unlock lots of resources, as is the work that we do at our NGB. So if you've got any, if there's any questions, or if you want to keep in touch, if there's ways that we can support your organisation, or any ways we can collaborate, then get in touch. Thank you.